Yo, what's good, Waffle Crew? I hope you're all doing awesome. I'm Mark, and today we're diving into some juicy r/Amithias whole tales from Reddit. If you're into these wild Reddit stories, why not smash that subscribe button, hit the like, and maybe ring that notification bell for good measure. Before we jump into the stories, I've got some exciting news. The votes for our Halloween art contest are in. Our amazing Discord team has been grinding through a ton of entries, and let me tell you, they've been putting in serious work. The discussions were intense, and it was so cool to see their passion. I'll reveal the winners at the end of this video, so stick around. Timestamps are in the description if you want to skip ahead. Let's get into it, folks. Much love, and just like yesterday's post, this one's a beast. It was suggested in the comments, y'all are killing it with these ideas, keep them coming. This story comes from a user called Escaped Groom, titled, AITA for helping my brother ditch his wedding. It's got 2 updates, so buckle up. I have 2 older brothers, and this is about the middle one. Our parents split when I was super young because of our mom's extreme jealousy. Dad could deal with it at first, but when she started making weird comments about me wanting to be like his spouse, he was done. She quickly moved on with a guy who had 2 kids, and we had joint custody for a bit. But when Dad remarried, Mom lost it, hurling awful insults at his new wife and claiming he cheated during their marriage. I was always tighter with my brothers and Dad than with Mom, who was pretty harsh to me. Long story short, my stepmom passed away in a tragic car crash, and when Dad called Mom to arrange picking us up early for the funeral, she decided to take us on a fun trip to celebrate something. She was happier than we'd ever seen her, but when we realized what had happened and broke down crying, she said only weak people mourn trashy women. Things exploded from there. Dad fought for full custody with visitation for her, always keeping communication open and even covering our travel costs to see her after she moved. But it was rough, and as soon as we hit 18, we started cutting contact. The last time we saw her was at my high school graduation, where she loudly told everyone we were ungrateful brats, and her husband threw insults our way too. We've been no contact since. My brother, let's call him Nate, started dating his now ex 3 years ago. She knew all about our past and why we cut Mom off, but she thought we were just being dramatic. They had issues because of her views, but she eventually seemed to drop her "you need to reconnect with your mom" campaign. Wedding planning went smoothly with no red flags. But when we got to the church, guess who was sitting front and center? Mom, her husband, and their 2 kids. I freaked out and called my brothers. Nate figured she might have crashed the event, so he called his ex to warn her about potential drama. Shockingly, she said it was fine because she invited them. Nate hung up, told me to grab him, and our oldest brother, Luke, handled things at the church. We bolted home and locked ourselves in, even as his ex, her family, and friends showed up trying to talk sense into him. Mom's husband even called to say he always knew we were trash. Now that things have calmed down, most of Nate's friends and our family are on his side. His ex's parents threatened to sue for the money they put into the wedding if he doesn't go through with it, but Nate said he'd rather pay them back than marry someone who betrayed him. Our close family fully backs Nate, and the fallout has been massive. Edit. Thanks for the support, everyone. It's really helped us feel validated. To clarify, no, she hasn't apologized. She even texted Luke, saying she thought inviting Mom would be a great wedding gift for Nate since she's all about family. Dad bought them a house as a wedding present, but only Nate's name is on the deed. She had keys to the place, but they changed the locks today, and Luke and some cousins are moving Nate's stuff out of her apartment this week. We're not worried about a lawsuit, but we'll talk to a lawyer just in case. We heard Mom and her family are still in town, but we're all crashing at our childhood home for a few days, so we don't care. Dad's bummed about Nate's heartbreak, but is trying to lift his spirits along with my partner and Luke's wife. I had to nuke my social media because of nasty messages, but the more people hear why Nate bailed, the less hate I'm getting. I feel bad she was embarrassed, but my brother comes first. Edit 2. We're 34, 32, and 28. The ex is 30. We're not in the US. I asked Luke about the church aftermath, and it went down as expected. He stood up in front of everyone, announced Nate wasn't coming, and asked them to leave, promising to return gifts sent to our side of the family. The ex was outside when her family told her, and she lost it, screaming, crying, and blowing up Nate's phone. Mom tried talking to Luke, but he ignored her. When she couldn't get a reaction, she started sobbing dramatically, complaining about how awful we are, and some people comforted her. That's her classic move. But Luke and his wife didn't bite. When they left the church, the ex confronted them, demanding to see Nate. But Luke shut her down. She asked what to do about the reception, and he said if she didn't want the venue, he'd arrange for the food to be donated to the staff, so it wouldn't go to waste. Everyone was yelling except Luke, who stayed calm to avoid giving Mom any satisfaction. Luke and his wife stopped for groceries and fast food on the way home, and we've been chilling like we're kids again, now with my partner and Luke's wife in the mix. Nate said he wanted them around, and since we all took time off for family time post-wedding, it's no issue. When the ex showed up at the gate, we knew she wasn't using the venue, so Luke's wife called with Nate's info, told them to take the food, and sent tips for their trouble. We're getting back the alcohol Dad paid for, so we're set for a boozy year-end. Some folks asked why Dad married Mom in the first place. He genuinely loved her and thought she was kind. Turns out, she was only nice to hook someone, and her true colors showed later. He considered staying until we were grown, but her behavior got worse. She'd act sweet, then flip back. As for the ex, we're sure she thought Mom was great because Mom's super charming to outsiders, and some find her mean streak funny as long as it's not aimed at them, but that doesn't excuse her. Nate only explained things to his boss, who was at the church and was shocked by our history with Mom since we seem like well-adjusted people. Dad says we can stay home as long as we need. Nate's moving back home for now. I showed my family this post, and they're touched by your kindness. Nate wants you to know his ex seemed normal, and he truly thought she understood his past. He's agreed to meet her and her parents today, but only at our house with us there for support. It's gonna be a wild meeting. What was she thinking, knowing Nate's history with Mom, dismissing it as drama, and then inviting her family to sit front row at his wedding? That's some next-level betrayal. Talk about toxic. Knowing he's no contact, but thinking it's fine to have them crash his big day. Wow, let's hit some comments before the updates. User Star Voyager says it's infuriating how abusers often get away with ruining things. This toxic mom wrecked another family moment without consequences. Another user, True Blue, says, NTA, don't pay them a cent and get a lawyer. Happy Vibes 60 says, NTA, every time she pushed your brother to reconcile, she was shaming him. It's sad he didn't end it sooner when she clearly didn't respect his boundaries. She knew his feelings and still tried to force her way by sneaking Mom in. She valued her own views over his needs. Her actions border on abusive, and I wonder how else she manipulated him. Hope he thinks hard before ever considering reconciliation. She's got traits like your mom. You're an awesome sibling. Equal Path says, NTA. She broke his trust and crossed his boundaries. You don't owe anyone a relationship, even family. Big Heart 284 says, NTA. I'd do anything for my brothers, including helping them escape a wedding. You're a solid sibling. Now, on to the first update. I was curious why Nate agreed to meet after refusing to talk, but it turns out she sent videos and photos of his stuff on the floor to his best friend Tim, threatening to destroy it unless Nate talked. Tim visited, Nate filled him in, and they told her they needed access to the apartment first. Tim, Luke, some cousins, and my partner went and grabbed Nate's clothes, electronics, and important documents. Nate joked they were the fastest moving crew ever and said he didn't care about the rest. The meeting was a mess. She showed up with her parents and sisters, tried to talk to Nate alone, but he refused. She started ranting without apologizing, saying it's not her fault we don't value real family and were raised to hate moms. She claimed she invited Mom to teach Nate to appreciate mothers, fearing he'd keep her future kids from her because of how he was raised. Nate stayed quiet until she insulted Dad, calling him a terrible father and us a cult. That's a sore spot, and we don't tolerate Dad being trashed. Nate let loose, calling her a deceitful liar, saying he was disgusted he ever touched her, and thanking the stars I'm always early, which helped him dodge the wedding. He called out her staying with a cheating husband like her mom does, saying she faked being kind Anu. He aired all the little things he overlooked because he loved who he thought she was. He said he'd never forgive her for hurting his siblings, but doesn't hate her because that'd waste energy. It was brutal, but healing for Nate. Her parents were silent, their faces red. She was sobbing. Her sisters tried defending her and their parents' marriage, expecting us to argue, but we didn't. Nate told her dad to sue if he wanted, but he'd expose their family's secrets if they did. The dad still pushed Nate to marry her, saying, "All families fight." I rolled my eyes so hard. The rest of the meeting was about logistics, returning gifts, stopping harassment, canceling the honeymoon, changing locks. Nate only spoke to her directly when she said she was keeping the engagement ring, which no one asked for. They left without a fight. When the alcohol delivery came, Mom and her husband slipped through the gate. She said she just wanted to talk to her babies, but Dad told her to leave. She screamed that he raised us wrong and we humiliated her with our actions. She called us awful people who need to make amends with her because we lack maternal love. Luke told her to go, saying the only news he wants about her is her funeral so he can celebrate. She wailed, and her husband demanded an apology, threatening to hit Luke. Dad and Luke went inside, and they left when the police were mentioned. It's hard for some to understand our reaction, but this is just the tip of the iceberg with Mom. Dad wasn't thrilled with Luke's words, but understood he was speaking for us all. Maybe that makes us bad people, but we're done with her. We're getting family therapy on top of our individual sessions. Nate doesn't want the house anymore, but Dad says to take it slow and focus on healing. We've been watching horror movies and some Disney classics, and we've got a drama bingo game going because we're apparently dramatic. We love each other and treat people well, but we can be petty when pushed. I feel bad she was humiliated, but I'd help Nate again because he's my priority. We're planning a family trip but are enjoying our staycation for now. To the person who called Luke a hero, he's the best brother and friend. Thanks for letting me vent. My English might not be perfect, but Nate, Luke, and I are touched by your support. To Daniela, this isn't about you. Update 2. Some clarifications first. If you want to PM me, go ahead, even if it's to hate. I'll only respond publicly. Luke wasn't parentified. Someone sent a nasty essay about that. My brothers hung out with me because they wanted to, not because they had to. We had nannies, family, and Dad, and they had freedom to do their own thing. After the divorce when I was 3, we stayed mostly with Dad and only visited Mom in pairs. Luke and Nate only went with me post-18 because I asked. They didn't want me alone with her. We've been in therapy forever and are doing extra sessions because of seeing Mom. Luke confronted her on his own. Nate and I can handle ourselves. Dad didn't go to the church because Nate asked him to head home. Nate's heartbroken, not a robot. He thought he'd spend his life with her and trusted his judgment. We're good at hiding emotions around people we don't trust, a survival skill from our upbringing. Luke had a relationship with our grandma, but cut her off after she brought Mom as a +1 to an event. The wedding had 250 guests, and the ex used fake names on the guest list to hide Mom's invite. We're not alcoholics. Dad's worried you'll think that, LOL. Now the update. This week was wild. Those who warned about the pregnancy tactic were spot on. She posted online claiming she was pregnant. People freaked out, calling Nate. He asked her to delete it and meet to talk. She deleted it, met him, and thought he wanted her back. I went with Nate. She was all smiles until she saw me, then started crying, clutching her stomach, claiming she was pregnant and didn't want a broken family. Nate demanded a doctor's visit to confirm, and she flipped, saying he didn't trust her. Turns out she's not pregnant, but posted that Nate was forcing her to abort. That was vile. People were confused by the drama. Luke's wife, Sarah, was furious, called her, and sent an email to the wedding guests clarifying everything, including the fake pregnancy. Today we heard the ex had a breakdown, leaving voicemails saying she'd die without Nate. That's straight out of Mom's playbook. Nate called the police. Her family put her in therapy, and she's under observation. We're done with her. Mom emailed Sarah, threatening to sue for defamation, but we're not worried. Sarah's parents are awesome and back us fully. Dad's considering a restraining order, but they're weak here. We had a blast at home yesterday. Karaoke, dancing, great food, drinks, games, and a bouncy house because why not? Most guests avoided the wedding topic, and those who mentioned it were tactful. Dad gave most of the alcohol to his employees for Christmas baskets. We're spending the holidays together and traveling. Nate doesn't want the house and plans to rent it out. I joked about eloping to avoid drama, but Luke said, I'm getting the biggest party if I want one. He's the best. Thanks for the kind comments, awards, and interest. Sorry to the nice Danielas out there, that jab wasn't for you. Let's wrap with some comments. Starry Night says, wow, what a ride. Your family's bond is incredible. I'm glad you've got each other to help Nate through this. Screw Daniela, your mom, and her toxic husband. Crown Jewel says, your sibling bond is amazing. I'm jealous. You all support each other so well. Wishing you the best, and my mom's happy to adopt you if you need one. Have fun with the booze and trips. Moonglow says, Sarah's a badass too. She's my hero now. You've all taken turns being heroes in this saga. Your dad's worry about strangers thinking you're alcoholics is adorable. Assure him at least one stranger doesn't. Here's to healing and turning this into a funny story someday. Cheers to your family's bond and this wild Reddit tale. What a roller coaster. The fake pregnancy stunt and trying to win Nate back. Wild. This family's unity is heartwarming. What do you think? Drop your thoughts below. Now, the Halloween contest results. It ran all October, an art contest where you had to include a waffle. The Discord team had a tough time judging the amazing entries. It was all about the vibes, not just skill. Here are the winners, and if you're named, hit up the Discord to claim your prize. I'll handle the merch. In 5th place, Sunny Scribe, such a cute piece with Poppy stealing the show. 4th, Harper Vibe, a spooky gif with lightning. 3rd place, Retro Soul, whose simple candy sorting scene hit the nostalgia spot. 2nd, Shadow Fox, an epic piece with tons of Discord characters brought to life. 1st place, Star Luna, an insane artwork with so much going on like waffle headphones and me boxing up stuff. Congrats to all! The Discord team went through 6 voting rounds with ties causing many debates. Everyone killed it. I'll show fan art in future videos and might start a physical art wall in my room. Thanks for your creativity. It's amazing to see where we've come from. Catch you in the next one, folks. Much love.